The basic outline for what to do when overlaying a MARC record is this. First, you look through Spark and find a MARC record that needs to be replaced. Second, you designate that MARC record as a target for overlaying. Third, you search Z39.50 for a better version of your record and make changes as necessary to the MARC coding. And finally, you overwrite the bad record with the good record. There are two different ways that you can go about designating a Spark record as an overlay target, and we will go through the overlay process twice, one time for each method. For the first example, let's suppose that you need to catalog this item, an autobiography of a professional baseball player. The first thing that you would need to do is search through Spark to see if a MARC record already existed for the item, and if you did so, you would find this record. It looks a bit minimalistic. A temporary record, no doubt, and a perfect candidate for overlay. I mentioned earlier that there are two ways to designate a Spark record for overlaying. The most direct way from here would be to click on the Mark 4 drop-down, and then select Overlay Target. As soon as you do that, a small confirmation message will show in the bottom right of the screen. Technically, you don't need to overlay this record immediately, but keep in mind that you can only have one record per workstation at a time designated as an overlay target. For right now, let's just do the overlay. We go to Cataloging at the top of the screen, and then select Import Record from Z39.50. Before we do anything else, notice a record is already marked for overlay. To find a better record, we will do an ISBN search. And once the number is typed in, we then click the Search button. A progress bar appears while the search is being carried out, and eventually we see that there are 3 search results. Now we need to evaluate these 3 results to see which is the best candidate for overlaying. Start by clicking the first row, and then click the View Mark button. And this record looks pretty good. It matches our item, certainly. It has lots of subject fields. It lists the co-author. So, yeah, I believe this could work out. Now we click Cancel, and then we click on the second row, and we go to View Mark. This record isn't awful or anything, but it's not quite as complete as the first MARC record. And it looks like this record was not cataloged according to RDA standards, whereas the first record that we looked at was cataloged according to RDA. All in all, I think that option 1 is better. So we cancel out of here, and we take a look at the final row, click on it, and then click View Mark. And this one is minimalistic. It's not quite as minimal as the record that we want to overlay, but there is still a bunch of stuff that we would want to add. Out of the 3 options that we looked at, I think that candidate number 1 is the best pick. So from here we click Cancel, then we highlight the first row, and then we click Overlay. Another pop-up will appear, and if we wanted to edit the record before overlaying, We could do so now by clicking Edit Z39.50 record. For right now, we'll skip that step. So just click the Overlay button, and the overlay is complete. If we go to the Mark View tab, we see that what used to be a stub record now has the full-fledged record that we just brought in. There is a second way to label a Spark record as an overlay target, and we'll go through the process with another example using this book. A MARC record for this does exist in Spark, and if we viewed the coding behind that MARC record, here is what we would see. Everything here is accurate and correct, but there's still a lot of work to be done to make this become fully fleshed out. If we can find a better record, overlaying would be the best and the quickest solution. If we wanted to, we could click the drop-down box that says Mark 4 and designate this as an overlay target. But there's also a way to do that from within the Z39.50 module. So we go to the cataloging menu, and then we choose Import Record from Z39.50. Look down at the bottom right. Unlike before, no record is currently marked for overlay. We will look for a new record using ISBN. However, before we do anything else, under Services and Credentials, make sure that the box next to Local Catalog is checked. Now click the Search button. A progress bar appears, and finally we can see that search results have appeared. At the first row, the service says Native Evergreen Cat. That's our local catalog. That's the record that we just viewed earlier. So we click on that first row, and then we click the button that says Mark Local Result as Overlay Target. And as soon as we do that, we can see that a message now confirms that a record is marked for overlay. At this stage, we would go through all of the search results to find the best target. However, we did just do that, so to save time, let's just make believe that we went through everything and we decided that number 7 was the best option that we had available. Just so that we can see what the record looks like, we would click on that row, go to View Mark, and it's complete and accurate and good. There are a couple of minor edits to make, but we'll do that in a moment. For now, click the Cancel button, and then making sure that the same row is highlighted, click the Overlay button. This time, let's correct the record right away. So we click the button that says Edit Z39.50 Record. And the majority of this record looks good. There are two things that I can see, however, that kind of jump out. First off, our book is a hardcover version, and this record has ISBNs for paperback. Now, if this did clearly say trade paperback, then it would be okay to leave those ISBNs in. But because we don't know for sure, we probably should delete them just to be on the safe side. And the other thing that I notice, down at the bottom there are a number of 900 fields. 900 fields are used for local notes, so everything that we can see here are just local notes that pertain to whatever library we are borrowing this record from. So taking those out, it is for the best. Once we make all the changes that we want to make, we click the Save button, and then down at the bottom we click the Overlay button. Here is the newly overlaid record. If we go to the Mark View tab, we can see the full, complete Mark coding.